Sports Center.
I'm Ed Benkin. It all comes down to one game in the American League Division Series tonight. It will be the Tigers and Mariners doing battle in Seattle, with the winner advancing to the ALCS. You can hear tonight's game on ESPN Radio. First pitch will be just after 8 Eastern. Coverage getting underway at 7:30 Eastern. The winner gets the Blue Jays in the ALCS meeting on Sunday. Toronto eliminated New York, and ESPN's Harry Douglas says despite the defeat, Aaron Boone deserves to be back as Yankees manager.
I think you give Aaron Boone another year.
Sure.
If next season, if you can't win your division,
okay,
and then if you can't have a World Series appearance, in my opinion,
no guarantees,
then you might have to move on.
Tomorrow on ESPN Radio, the Cubs and Brewers will play Game 5 of their series. NFL news, Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray was back at practice despite a foot injury. His status still questionable for Sunday's game with the Colts. The Buccaneers will be without running back Bucky Irving and receiver Chris Godwin Jr. when they take on the 49ers on Sunday. Bengals receiver Jamar Chase left practice early because of an illness. Cincinnati plays at Green Bay on Sunday. And the Browns announced Shedeur Sanders will be the backup on Sunday to starter Dylan Gabriel in Pittsburgh.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ Chris Candy coming up Monday from NFL to college football and, of course, Major League Baseball postseason. I'll recap it all in my Upon Further Review at 7 a.m. Eastern. It's unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6 right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Two Football Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Fired up, you are here with us. I hope the work week's in the rearview mirror, but if you're still on the clock and hanging out, we'll get you to the finish line here on this beautiful Friday in the capital city. LSU in South Carolina coming your way. Tiger Stadium, 6:55 kickoff tomorrow. We'll certainly talk about that in our next segment. Right now, we're going to get into SEC against the spread, but first, I want to talk to you, Jacob Beck. How's your recollection of the 2011 season? Is it okay?
The LSU 2011 season? I was pretty young, but I do remember it pretty fondly.
It's a really good team.
Yes.
Very, very good. It was my first year on the beat. I was just out of college. Do you remember the Brad Wing fake punt?
Yeah, the one that got called back?
For Florida. So I asked him about that today. We were at Football Friday at the Cook, and he was one of our panelists. It was a great story he gave. So Chase Claymaw, the tight end on that team, was the punt protector. And they had punted twice. And he said, he was telling Brad Wing, like, dude, they are all 10 of them are bailing every time. Like, you can run. And Brad was like, dude, I don't run. Like, I'm from Australia. I barely know the rules. Like, I just punt. So they went over to Thomas McGahee, his special teams coach. And they're like, coach, he can run. And McGahee was like, dude, he's from Australia. Like, he's not running. Like, we're punting the ball. And so this was not planned. Brad Wing did not know when he took the field he was going to punt. And he literally caught the snap and looked up, and everyone left. And if you watch the film, like, he just stands there, and he's like, well, okay. So he took off and ran. And he said today that he did not think that should have been a taunting penalty. He didn't think it was that big a deal, which...
Well, and is that rule been changed? Because now, isn't that... They don't call back the...
I haven't seen him call back a score if you taught before, but maybe... Players aren't doing it now because they know that'll get.
Well, maybe
I'm not
so,
sure. I can't speak to that with the confidence.
But I feel like I've seen the unsportsmanlike, and then it just usually applies to the either extra point or the kick, the kickoff.
Maybe. And then I also got another story from Russell Shepard, which is the beautiful thing about doing those things like behind closed doors, quote unquote. It's not kind of on the record, and I'll air it out a little bit here, but I don't feel too bad about it. This was 14 years ago, and Russell's NFL days are done, so I don't think that we need to worry about college. But I asked him his favorite memory from the 2011 team, and he was on that team. Great team. They went to Dallas and beat Oregon. They went to West Virginia and won. They went to Tuscaloosa and won. They destroyed Arkansas. It was a great team. They beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. What's your favorite memory of that season, Shep? So actually, my favorite memory of that season, I was at home on the couch because I was living with my girlfriend at the time, and I tried to claim that as my residence, and the compliance department found out about it and suspended me for the first 2 games. So I was watching the Oregon game at home when Tyrann Mathieu stripped DeAnthony Thomas on the punt return and ran it in for a touchdown. He said he had seen it like 6 times in practice and to see it in a game. But I did not know when I asked him that question, he's going to tell me his favorite time was when he was suspended for breaking the rules with improper benefits.
Wow, that's good stuff.
That's what you get with the Football Friday over there at the Cook. So a lot of fun. I actually asked Todd McClure when I had fellas you can run the ball, and he's like, I'm not really sure about that. So that was less than encouraging, but it is what it is. Our Friday show is brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. All right, Beck, where's your confidence in me right now? I had a winning week last week.
You did.
Winning week.
By 1 game.
That detail was completely irrelevant.
And I will say this.
Completely irrelevant.
No, and I will say this. You should have been 5-0 last week.
That's right.
100% should have been 5. You lost by a half point because Kentucky is horrible. And then Vanderbilt.
Kentucky.
And then Vanderbilt should have covered if not for Alabama going down to score a touchdown with 15 seconds left to make themselves look a little bit better. Other than that, you're 5-0. You would have been 5-0.
So basically, that's like making 5 birdies in a row on the course. You're just on fire. You're striping. You're going for the course record.
You're getting hot.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games this week.
Yep.
Now,
6-pack.
we keep in mind how we got where we got last week with the winning week.
We do.
How did we get there?
We got there by making the opposite selection that you would have done in normal circumstances.
So what the moral is that essentially it was not a winning week because I was wrong on 3 of the picks.
You
I would have been wrong on. So you said I should have been 5-0.
You would have been wrong on all of them.
Which would have been 0-5.
Yes.
0-5 was on the table.
It was on the table, but because you understood you understood what you needed to do, you got it done. You got a winning week. So let's see what you do.
So what do we do this week?
Let's see.
All right, 11 o'clock, they crank it up in Como, the Show Me State, ABC, Alabama at Missouri, the home team, the Tigers catching 2.5. Look, Missouri's defense allows 203 yards per game. That is second nationally. Missouri is number 1 in the country in third down offense. Missouri looks really good. Missouri has played an atrocious schedule. Bama goes to Columbia. They destroy Missouri. Alabama minus 2.5. Give me the Tide on the road.
I feel like
as the favorite.
I feel like that was probably what you would have done. Like you would have selected Missouri last week. I feel.
I did not. I selected the Tide minus 2.5. Easy bet. Washington State plays Ole Miss. The line on this game is 31.5. Beck, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Washington State played North Texas this year. Do you want to guess how many points Washington State gave up in that game against the Mean Green?
I actually know because I was checking out Washington State earlier this week because I was curious as to why this line would be so obscure. And it's because Washington State lost to North Texas by 30 points?
They gave up 59 to the Mean Green.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking, well, that's a bad Saturday. They also gave up 59 to Washington. That is not good. That is not good. Now they're playing Ole Miss. Let me tell you, this is going to be a big, big day on the ground for the Ole Miss Rebels. Is it enough to cover 31.5 points against Washington State? Yes, it is.
Lane likes to score.
Lane likes to score. This is going to be 50-14. This is going to be a cover. Give me Ole Miss minus 31 and a hook. All right, let's go to Dallas. Red River rivalry. Oklahoma and Texas. Weird line here. Texas, 1.5-point favorite. Why is Texas a favorite over anybody? They looked terrible in Florida last weekend. John Mateer is probable in this game. Look, Texas scored 7 points at Ohio State. They only scored 21 at Florida. They only scored 27 on UTEP. And Oklahoma's defense allowed 13 points to Michigan, 17 points to offense, to Auburn. Oklahoma's good and Texas is not, and Texas is favored.
Perhaps they know already that John Mateer will not be starting, but I don't think that he's going to play.
Arch Manning's going to start, and he's not good.
That's true.
Give me Oklahoma plus 1.5. That's easy. Give me Oklahoma on the money line.
It's a pick-em game. Yeah, it's a pick-em.
Goodness gracious. Give me the Oklahoma Sooners. That's easy money, obviously. All right, 3:15 on the SEC Network. Arkansas is going to Knoxville to play the Tennessee Vols. Arkansas is still, somehow, 8th in the country in total offense, 514 yards per game. I took the Arkansas Razorbacks at home catching points against Notre Dame. What did they do? They were down at halftime by 946 points. That's what they did. It was so bad they got their coach fired. Do I dare take the Hogs again to cover an 11.5-point spread now with Bobby Petrino coming out of that tunnel on a motorcycle?
No.
I do not. I take the Tennessee Volunteers. I lay the 11.5 because Arkansas's defense is abysmal. All right. Let me go to 6 o'clock. ESPN, Florida at Texas A&M. Sunbelt Billy, if you do anything in your life, please win this game. One thing in your life, Sunbelt Billy. I don't care what you did in the 3-3-7. I need a win in College Station. It's a 7.5-point number. The Aggies, however, I have something nice to say about the Aggies. Last week, they looked just awful in those uniforms. An embarrassment to the school, which, let's be honest, has a lot of embarrassing things. They're wearing throwbacks this week that are awesome. These are good throwbacks for the Aggies this weekend. Is that worth any points? I don't know, but listen to this. A&M is 22nd in the country in total offense and 21st in total defense. Top 22 in both. Very, very balanced. I think the Aggies in their offensive line will neutralize Florida's defensive front, which is very good. I think the Aggies win this game by 2 touchdowns. 7.5, not enough for me. Give me A&M minus a 7.5. And then we go to the 6:30 ABC game on the Plains, the loveliest little village on the Plains, as they say. It'll be at Jordan-Hare, Auburn and Georgia. 3.5 points. Auburn's catching it home. Look, Auburn's defense is bad. Auburn's offense is bad. Jackson Arnold and this offense are bad. They did not score in Oklahoma. They did not score in College Station. You would think that Kirby Smart's Georgia defense would just put these guys in a locker, but Georgia's 8th in the SEC in total defense. They're 13th in sacks. They're 14th in tackles for loss. They're not playing dominant defense. They're not playing disruptive defense. This is such an Auburn spot. It's such an Auburn spot. They're going to win this game. Not only are they going to cover the 3.5, they win this game against Georgia.
Whoa.
Hugh Freeze gets his biggest win as the Auburn head coach. War Eagle plus 3.5 in this game on the Plains. Those are my SEC picks. Alabama minus 2.5. Ole Miss minus 31.5. Oklahoma catching a 1.5. The Vols laying 11.5 against Bobby Petrino's Arkansas Razorbacks. A&M minus 7.5, and the Auburn Tigers plus 3.5. But we're being real. Sprinkle the money line. I like War Eagle on the Plains.
Wow.
How about these picks? You feeling it?
I have to say, when I put these games into our little Google document we use, I usually try to guess what your picks are going to be, and I got all of them right except for Auburn and Georgia. I thought you were going to go all favorites except for Oklahoma. By the way, the Oklahoma Texas, I'm seeing both teams being favored by a 1.5, so it's a pick 'em at this point. On ESPN, I'm seeing Oklahoma favored by a 1.5.
You're seeing that's on ESPN?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go with that because that's what I usually use. Sometimes those move. Obviously, I did this.
But either way, it's a 1.5.
I'll take Oklahoma. I'm willing to cede the 3 points basically there.
Yeah.
I'm willing to take OU minus 1.5. We will amend that for the record. OU minus 1.5. I'm fine with that.
Either way,
they're going to win the game.
Yeah.
Here's why they're going to win the game: because Texas is not any good at football. That's why That's why Oklahoma wins the game. Oklahoma, good football team. Texas stinks.
That's a good analysis, I think. Yes.
That's why, as I say often, they pay me multiple $1,000s every single year.
Yes, they do.
To do this radio show.
I am a bit worried because I was hoping. The problem is I don't know how you do this because the Costanza picks are good, but like last week, you had your Tuesday picks that you went 9-1 with, and you had a mixture of the not making sense picks and then the actual thought process picks, and you did really well. So it's hard for me to know how you should mix and match those, but you did at least.
So again, I have no idea what I picked on Tuesday. So let me see. I'm going back into my app in the little pick'em I have with 25 friends that we all throw in some cash at the beginning of the season and play all year. So the LSU game, the SC games, I have Alabama, I have Ole Miss, I have Oklahoma. I have Arkansas in that one.
Okay.
I have Florida in that one.
All right.
I have Georgia in that one.
See,
so it's just the opposite.
Yeah, it is.
But look, I said this. I take that, and this is actually for money. I get it on Tuesday. I just look at the line. I don't look at anything else, and I do my picks. All the picks are done in 14 seconds. Boom, 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 it's done.
Which usually
this is a page worth of notes where I've done like statistics.
This is the problem. This is the problem, Hunt. You're over analyzing it. You really are. We've seen that. We saw that with the last 3 weeks before last week. You had all this analysis and you went 2-9, 4-6, 4-5, 3-4.
2-9. 2-9 is terrible.
It's worse than terrible.
It's really the fly in the ointment. Other than that, I'm doing okay. 2-9.
Other than that, you're just a few games under 500 every week.
This is going to be a big week. I'm really excited for Monday's shows when we talk about how smart I am. That's going to be a great show.
I think it won't
Tune in 2 o'clock on Monday. It'll be awesome. Friday show is brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. We'll talk LSU in South Carolina when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Corks, as I mentioned. Check out the menu, corksfishandshrimp.com. If you're one of these folks thinking, man, I'm from South Louisiana, there's no shot I'm going through a drive-through for my seafood. I understand that. We got pride in our palates when it comes to our cooking down here. These guys are from down here, and they've got great fried catfish and great fried shrimp. And they're versatile with it. They can put it on a po' boy as well. They can put it on their famous baked potatoes. You get that baked potato topped with crawfish étouffée and then covered with that fried shrimp. It is something else. They're on Government between Foster and Jefferson. Go by and see them for a late lunch today. If you're having a watch party and you want to feed a bunch of people, they're happy to do catering. They can do that as well over at Corks. Check out the menu, corksfishandshrimp.com. See their bulk orders. See their platters, individuals, po' boys. Even their sides are fantastic. Get those beignet bites when you roll on through. Delicious sweet treat after your seafood. It's Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. They're online at corksfishandshrimp.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp.
Looking in the Bayou Ford chat, Sven Kreuzberg says Hunt has lost his mind. Auburn has Freeze and Arnold, UGA by however many they want. It's actually incorrect, Sven Kreuzberg. Auburn will win the game because I called it that way. So that's what's going to happen. It's like the water boy. That ain't guess. That's what it's going to be. So we'll see. I've got that. It's an aggressive pick. I am excited.
That was quite the water boy impression.
Look, Vicky Valancourt. You know, all the women in the Adam Sandler movies are VV, Vicky Valancourt, Veronica Vaughn, and there's another one.
Oh, what was the one from Happy Gilmore?
Oh, yeah.
What was her name?
Vanessa.
Oh, shoot.
I can't think of it, but it's a weird little Easter egg that I had never considered. I had seen those movies a bunch.
Virginia Vinet.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Virginia Vinet, Veronica Vaughn, Vicky Valancourt. Vicky Valancourt's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, a little bit.
But the other ones kind of work. All right, let's talk a little LSU and South Carolina. Brian Kelly met with the media yesterday, and he talked a little bit about the offense. If you missed my first segment, I told you why I really like LSU's defense in this game. That's not a hot take. Statistically, this is a mismatch, LSU's defense in Tiger Stadium against South Carolina's offense. But as we know, LSU's offense has had its sincere struggles, and Brian Kelly talked yesterday about those struggles early in games that LSU just had trouble getting it into gear. This is what the head coach had to say.
We need to start faster. You know, we have not started at a level that is a standard of what really good offenses play at. You know, we've been a little bit here, a little bit there, but it's been off and on. We need a much more explosive start, if you will. 3 and out's not that. But let's see how this team goes for 4 quarters. We need first quarter, second quarter, third, and fourth. We've outscored our opponents largely in the second half. We need to be better in the first half.
I think the crowd is important in this game on Saturday night, especially when LSU's on defense, obviously. And you're going to get a cranky group of purple and gold folks if the offense comes out and punts immediately twice. Like, you're going to get a group coming off the bye, coming off a loss in that stadium. If you come out and, you stumble out of the blocks offensively, you give up a sack to Dylan Stewart, or you can't complete a pass on 3rd and 8, and it's just, you're going to get a cranky crowd. Conversely, if you go out there and hit a couple, you could really get some juice in that stadium. The defense is going to play well, and that's when I think LSU can overwhelm South Carolina. And so we'll see what happens. But Brian Kelly said he's kind of waiting for a breakout of this offense.
You know, if you look at the way we played the game the last 2 games, it's been much more aggressive on 4th down. I feel like our offense is ready to break out. I don't want to hold them back from that perspective, that we go in with this mindset of punt it deep, hold them down there, wait for a turnover. I don't think we're going to play that way. We're going to play to the assets that we have on offense. So I'm not going to go into the game thinking, this is a low-scoring game, keep the points down, kick field goals. I think we go in there with the expectations, kind of the question that was asked earlier, is that my expectations are we're going to continue to progress offensively and be much more consistent for 4 quarters.
That's an interesting bite, because if you've been listening to me for the last few weeks, I've talked about how Brian Kelly, now that he's been here, it's his 4th year, like we know, we're kind of learning the language, understanding how he treats the media. And he's pretty honest. Like, I find him to be honest. He's honest about injuries. I think he's pretty honest about what goes on in the football program. Gives a lot of access, and I think he's pretty honest. So I think you can take most of what he says at face value. It would surprise me if LSU was overly aggressive in this game. You probably need to do that against Ole Miss. You might need to do that next week in Nashville against Vanderbilt. Come out and be aggressive, because you're going to have to keep up with some points. I figure Vanderbilt's going to score a little bit. In Tuscaloosa, like, Ty Simpson and that offense are probably going to score a little bit. I don't know if Lenore Sellers in South Carolina is going to score a lot. So I'm not real interested in giving them a short field, because I wanted to go for 4th and 1.5 with an offense that doesn't run the ball very well. Like, I'd rather punt that. So he talked early in the season about, hey, we're going to be, a little bit more confident in our defense. We're going to play maybe a little bit more conservatively. Talked about the punt in the second half against Clemson, where the analytics said to go for it, and he decided to punt and try to pin Clemson deep. It would surprise me if they came off of that. Now, he's saying they are, and I'm telling you, he's generally pretty honest. So maybe LSU does play a little bit more aggressively to quote-unquote break out. But that would surprise me a little bit. But LSU does need to get off to a better start offensively, and they've got to play better on offense. They've just got to find something. And this is where I start to talk about the offense in the big picture. You've had a bye week. You gave Garrett Nussmeier a week off. You probably get Caden Durham back. Trey'Dez Green's healthy. South Carolina's defense is just okay. You need to see a step forward, big picture. You need to see a step forward, big picture. Meaning, for this team to accomplish some goals, to get to 10-2 potentially, to try to get in the playoff, maybe 9-3 is in the discussion. We'll see. But I think 10-2 is probably where you need to get. There's a lot of people that are driving around looking at me going, they're not getting to 10-2. They can't score. And I'm not here to disagree with you completely. But I'm going to leave the door open until it's closed, right? So if you're going to get there, and you're going to be better on offense, and you're going to give yourself a chance to go to Tuscaloosa and win, give yourself a chance to go to Norman and win, give yourself a chance to beat Texas A&M here, go to Vanderbilt and win, give yourself a chance to keep up with Arkansas, who probably will score some points in Tiger Stadium. You need to start that process this week off a bye. Hopefully, Garrett Nussmeier looks pretty healthy. Hand up. I told you after Southeastern I thought he looked good. I thought he was healthy. And I told you that was regardless of competition. I gave you all week against Southeastern. I said, I don't care what they do on offense, because this is an FCS team that can't keep up. But it was more about what it looked like. Nussmeier did throw a deep ball out there that drew a pass interference for Chris Hilton. He did throw that ball across his body in the back of the end zone. But then you come out against Ole Miss, and Chris Hilton's flying by the defense, and you can't get it out there. Got to find something on offense that makes you feel like you're moving in the right direction. And this is a team you can do it against coming off a bye in your home stadium. I've given you some keys to this offensively all week. I think Trey'Dez Green is a huge key in this game. Got to try to get him involved, to get him some easy throws and catches, get him the ball in the red zone. He's a touchdown maker. 2 in the bowl game against Baylor. Get him the ball. You've got to find something in the ground game. Maybe it's Juwan Johnson in the Wildcat. Maybe Caden Durham gives you a little bit of a spark. Maybe you run some power formations. Matt Flynn's talked a lot about that. He believes in it. He knows a lot more than me. I don't know much about that. But show me something offensively. My confidence is low there. It just is. My confidence is low. I opened the show giving you how much confidence I have in this LSU defense in this game. The confidence on the other side of the ball for me is just not really there. But you've got to find something on the offensive side of the football. We'll see how aggressive they are. Hopefully you put the defense on the field first. But this is a week to take a step forward with that offense, because you're going to have to pack one when you get on that plane to Nashville. I say all the time, the best 2 words in SEC football scheduling are at Vanderbilt. Clark Lee's trying to make me eat those words, because Vanderbilt looks a little bit better. They score. South Carolina, not so much. We'll see. I'll kick this thing off tomorrow at 6:55 inside Tiger Stadium. Looking for my LSU content, you can find it at Hunt on LSU on YouTube or wherever you find your podcast. That's Hunt on LSU, certainly on LouisianaSports.net as well. Got a column up today on LouisianaSports.net that talks about Trey Green. Get him the football. Want to give you our broadcast schedule for tomorrow, certainly, before we get out of here again. Kickoff is TV time 6:45, so that's what we base everything on. I'm telling you, the listener, that, hey, 6:55 is actual kickoff time, but for our purposes, 6:45 is kickoff time. We'll start everything up over on Eagle 98.1 Game Day at 1:45. They'll be at Rouse's, Burbank. Charles Handegriff, Matt Musso, getting you ready for 3 hours, 1:45 to 4:45. They'll hand it off to me on the LSU Sports Radio Network. I'll be on campus between the ramps of the Assembly Center for our pregame show on the network. It'll be myself, Brandon Taylor, and Marlon Favorite. We'll be with you from 4:45 till about 6:20. At which point we'll hand things off to the broadcast team of Chris Blair, Jacob Hester, and Gordy Rush. They'll have the call of the game 30 minutes after it goes final. Me, Brandon Marlin on the Fighting Tiger postgame show on the LSU Sports Radio Network. And 90 minutes after the game goes final, right here in the Raising Cane studio, Charles Handegriff and Richard Dixon to the wee hours of Sunday morning. So start your day with us at 1:45, getting you ready for LSU and South Carolina Saturday night in Death Valley. I'll give my pick to that game as we finish the show today. When we come back, it's a little take it or leave it. Something tells me there may be some Cubs and Brewers talk in there. We'll talk about the games nationally as well, including Oregon and Indiana. So don't go anywhere. Come back with us on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show. You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Chugging right along here on the Football Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Matt Moscona going to follow me up. He'll be on remote at Don Juan's Cigar Bar this afternoon. Saw Matt at Football Friday over at the Cook. Had a great time with the Alumni Association. Sat down with Todd McClure, Russell Shepard, Brad Wing. It was a big old time there on campus. Looking forward to getting back out on campus tomorrow for LSU and South Carolina. Full breakdowns of that game available on demand from today's show, and we'll pick it coming up here in about 15 minutes. What we have to do right now, though, is play a little Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Just about quitting time on a Friday. It means just about time to crack open an ice-cold Flight by Yingling. It is the next generation of light beer. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. It's going to be a warm game day again. It's middle of October, but it's still warm. If you're looking for a cold, light beer to have tomorrow on campus, Flight by Yingling needs to be your choice. You can pick it up wherever you find your alcohol. It's Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer.
All right, first one here, Indiana. Going on the road to Eugene,
yes,
taking on number 3, Oregon. Kurt Signetti gets his first signature win at Indiana on Saturday. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it. Not at Allison. That's a deal. I'm just going to take Jimmy's and Joe's, and Oregon's got a truckload of them, and I don't believe that Indiana does. So, look, it's a good team. He's doing a good job coaching them. Their quarterback is good, but you're talking about an Oregon team that's just much better than Indiana talent-wise from 1 to 30. So give me the Ducks to win that game. I do not like Indiana there.
All right, next one. The pitcher choked last night. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. He just panicked. I don't have another way to say it. I was kind of conflicted last night because I was at a local establishment watching the games. I was there to watch the Cubs with a buddy who was in town. And because of the way that they handled their television programming, both TNT and TBS were on Dodgers-Phillies until that game was completed. So I was literally sitting at this place watching on my buddy's phone, watching the Cubs game, and we needed that game to end. So for the Cubs' purposes, I think it would be better for the Phillies to win because they're probably not as good as the Dodgers. So probably needed the Phillies to win in case the Cubs do win and advance to the NLCS.
And at least then maybe win that game to push the series a little bit longer.
But I wanted to watch the Cubs on the TVs in the restaurant. And I needed that game to end, and it did. But all he had to do was throw the ball to first base. He had plenty of time to throw the ball to first base, and he just panicked. sucked. He didn't catch it cleanly. He was in a rush. The catcher's pointing to first. He airmails it. It's going to be a long, cold offseason for that Phillies reliever there. Got to throw the ball to first base in that spot.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. He's a young guy. He's only 24. Has pitched well in the regular season for him, but that's a big spot.
He made the pitch to get out of it. Ground ball back to him. He just panicked.
All right, next one. Deion Sanders had another blood clot surgery this week. This is his final season as a coach. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it, but I don't feel great about it. I mean, the thing about Deion is he's been very open about this. He wanted to coach his kids. They're gone. So unless the Browns are going to hire him, I think there's a chance that his kind of passion is running low on that. And Colorado, not surprisingly, is not very good this year. And he's just got a lot of issues. He's got a porta potty on the sideline now. He's wearing Depends. He can't walk properly because he had his toes amputated. Like, it's a tough scene for Deion. It's so sad because a body that gave him so much greatness is now taking away the later years. It's sad to watch, but like, all those health complications, that's a full-time gig, man, in terms of running a college football program. And when you're in and out of the hospital like that, like, it's taking its toll on him, I think.
Yeah, you have to wonder what his motivation would be to continue to do this year in, year out at a place like Colorado, where he's going to be able to bring some guys in because of who he is, but you're not going to have
Travis Hunter.
Yeah, you're not going to have a big NIL budget there in Boulder. So it's a question of what is really motivating him to continue to do this, and I'm kind of with you there. I would be surprised if he lasts another season there.
Incidentally, just as we're on the Deion deal, I'm watching that Cowboys documentary on Netflix, which has been good. It's brought back a lot of childhood memories. I haven't finished it yet. I'll probably talk about it a little bit when we finish it. But like, the way those 90s football players and coaches talk about Deion is still amazing. It's been 25 years since then. I mean, longer, 30 years since the middle of his prime. And they're like, that there was no one on the field like him. No one. In an NFL football field, no one was like him. Like, he was special talent.
All right, next one. Blake Grupe will have a perfect Sunday. Take it or leave it.
I mean, I'm leaving that.
No.
Just leave it alone.
He misses every week.
He does.
I'm sick of watching that. I've gotten to the point with NFL kickers where they trot out from 53, like, you're supposed to make it, and like, he just misses a lot. And well, those are 50-yarders. It's an NFL kicker.
It's not college.
His only job is to kick it through the uprights. It's not that he can't get it there; he said he can't get it through. He needs to start making more kicks.
If he misses one this week, I think you gotta go
Charlie Smith.
You gotta because we saw this with the Falcons. Younghoe Koo, they paid him a lot of money, and last year he wasn't very good. This year he started off bad. They brought in a guy that was in the UFL, and he went like 5 for 5 in a game. I mean, you have to do it.
To quote the great George Costanza, they fire people like it's a bodily function. Like, coaches will fire kickers for anything.
Yeah.
And Grupe's got 100 lives in New Orleans. I'm sick of watching him miss.
All right, next one. The Cubs will start Shota Imanaga on 4 days rest on Saturday. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave that. I just can't imagine they're going to send him out there. Like, the next time Shota Imanaga pitches, if he does, it needs to be Game 3 of the NLCS in Wrigley in the cold with the wind blowing. Like, he does not need to pitch in Milwaukee or Los Angeles. Like, he's giving up too many home runs.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, it's first team to 3 wins. And if you give up a 2-run homer, you've almost lost. He's out of gas. He's given up 12 home runs in his last 11 starts.
Yeah, it's real tough. It's real tough to watch it because, I mean, he was so good in the first half and just had some struggles with injuries and all that. And so now, the second half of the season and then now in the playoffs, he has just given up so many homers. It's
got
tough.
An off day. You can piece 9 innings together with Colin Ray and Drew Pomeranz and Kittredge and Keller and Valencia. There's 9 innings in that.
I could see, I don't know, man.
Thielbar.
I think Craig Counsell still. It's hard for me to. It would be hard for me to say that he doesn't trust Shota anymore. And I understand why he wouldn't. I mean, it makes sense why he wouldn't. But
sorry, you give up 2 home runs every time you take the ball.
Yeah,
and they hit it to the moon off you in that stadium 5 days ago.
Yeah.
So I can't deal with it.
I could see a potential where they start him and it's just got a super short leash where, if you get more than 2 or 3 guys on base or walk guys, then you're getting them will pull you.
I will tell you this. If they start Mizorowski and he pitches really well and starts giving me all these fist pumps.
Oh, no.
And the guy who bailed on LSU and then is just dominating the Cubs and he's celebrating like a dork, I'm going to lose my mind in that press box. If they send him out there, I need all-time failure. I need a meltdown, 4 walks in a row, boot off the field. I cannot handle this guy. He's hurt me too many times. I appreciate your commitment and signature with Louisiana State University. That means a lot to me. Then you went and took the money and went to the Brewers, which most people would have done. It was the right decision. You're now a professional. You're making lots of money, and you were an all-star this year. I need failure because I do not like Jacob Mizorowski. The Miz, as they call him. He needs to be Miz.
Yeah, we need some walks if he's going to be out there.
It goes 104.
Yeah.
That's fast.
It is. Last one, 90 degrees in October. Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it.
Leave it alone.
I like the hot weather. I'm good with the hot weather. I don't complain about hot weather. It'd be nice if there was one day in the 70s, the high like it's 74.5, but I get that day's coming. Our fall is December. That's the way that I generally phrase things. Our day's coming. It's just not here. I did see on Twitter today that there's like a heat wave coming next week, that we're going to be in the 90s. And then Steve Caparata said that this is the longest into fall that we're going to have without a high in the 70s in like a long, long time. So, look, I'm okay with the hot weather. I'm good in August. It's fine. I don't like when it's freezing cold, but I will contend that you would like a nice brisk day.
Yeah, let's just get like a low 80s at least. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's going to be warm. But that just means you can drink more Flight by Yingling, which, by the way, brings you Take It or Leave It every single day. All right, our Football Friday show is brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Delicious jumbo shrimp right here from the Gulf. And the crispy, clean, fried catfish. Got your po' boys, shoestring fries, cold slaw, honey butter rolls, beignet bites, crawfish etouffee, baked potatoes. They got it all over there at Corks. Check out the menu, corksfishandshrimp.com. If you need them to help you out with your tailgate, they're happy to do it. They can also help you out with feeding the office, lunch and learn, birthday parties, whatever the case may be, watch party for LSU or the Saints. Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Check them out online, corksfishandshrimp.com. All right, we'll come back and pick LSU in South Carolina. That's next. Finish things up on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Every car that is on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. Every single model in the line, all of them, are IHA top safety picks. All of them. Which means when you get behind the wheel of a Genesis, you're behind the wheel of one of the safest cars on the road. It's a luxury brand at a reasonable price. The team there, the facility there, it is all first class. They have spared no expense, and they have unturned every single rock. It's a phenomenal spot over there, Airline at PQ. If you are in the market for a vehicle, whether that's next week, next month, next year, it's not something that happens every year for everybody, but when that time comes, just put Genesis on your list. It's right there on Airline at PQ. You're probably going to be on Airline Highway anyway if you're in the market for a new vehicle in Baton Rouge. Just make that one more stop at Genesis of Baton Rouge and get behind the wheel. You will see that difference, and they'll also give you America's best warranty. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge, online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp.
Fridays here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, live and local all day long. We start at 7 o'clock with the Off the Bench boys, Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn. They're with you 7 to 10 from Rouse's on Burbank. They hand things off to the Live at Lunch crew from Rufino's 10 to 1. And then they hand it off to me at 1 o'clock, 1 to 3. Matt Moscona, AFR 3 to 6. 6 o'clock, Louisiana Prep Preview. That's until 6:45, where generally speaking, they hand off to Catholic High football. Believe the Bears played last night, so
that is correct.
I don't know what the protocol is this evening, but Cade will be on at 6 o'clock for Louisiana Prep Preview coming your way to get you ready for all the high school football action. Should be an awesome night in South Louisiana for some high school football, so get out there and check it out. If you are around a ball game, it'll be LSU in South Carolina tomorrow. Kickoff for that one is at 6:55. We start our coverage at 1:45. Eagle 98.1 game day right there from Rouse's at Burbank and Lee. If you're headed off to campus, invite you to stop on by, see Charlie and Musso, pick up some ice and all your tailgate supplies as we get ready for the Tigers and the Gamecocks. I told you earlier in the show that we picked the Saints to lose to the Patriots 28-17 was my pick officially for that one. I like the Saints early to hang around. I like the Patriots to wear them down a little bit late and salt that one away by a couple of scores, 28-17. It's finally time now to finish up our discussion about LSU and South Carolina. Every single Monday, I put together a piece on LouisianaSports.net. It is pretty easy reading. It's called Statistically Speaking, and all it is are the numbers for LSU's opponents. I don't add a ton of color to them. I just put a little bit of opinion in there, but it is just all numbers based on the opponent. And I highlight them with the top. If you're in the top 25 in the country, it's green. If you're in the bottom 50, it's red. South Carolina's offensive page looks like a Civil War battlefield. It is just bathed in red. 92nd in the country, 122nd, 95th, 133rd in plays run, 122nd, 132nd in the country in yards per carry. That's almost last. Rushing touchdowns, 95th. Passing touchdowns, 116th. They're awful across the board on offense. They lost their offensive coordinator, Dow Loggins, moved on to Appalachian State, and they promoted Mike Shula, who was their quarterback's coach. Last time I even heard of Mike Shula, he was handling things in Tuscaloosa poorly. And he's handling this poorly. They don't have a running back they can lean on. They have Nick Harbor at tight end / wide receiver, and not a lot else. All South Carolina has done well this year is play special teams. Couple punt return touchdowns, blocked a kick, they're running fake punts. They have 6 non-offensive touchdowns. Scoop and score, pick 6. Nothing on offense. They're doing nothing. And that plays right into LSU's hands defensively. It's a great matchup for LSU's defense against this team. This goes back to the first segment we did on this game. If LSU contains its pass rush, doesn't get too far up the field. I talked to Coach Kevin Peoples today for our pregame show interview, and he sung that chorus twice. And we talked to Jamari Butler on Tuesday. He said the same thing. Rush and keep Sellers in front of you. And then if the defensive backs plaster on their guys and don't allow the big play on a broken play, South Carolina's going to have a real hard time moving the football down the field. They just are. I don't see South Carolina scoring a lot of points in this game. And I don't think Vegas does either, because you've seen LSU's offense play, and Vegas has them favored by 9.5. You got to score some points to win by 9.5, or you got to really put the clamps on an opposition. And I think that's what's coming for LSU on Saturday. The offensive side is the other side of the coin here. And I'll just be candid. I don't have a lot of confidence in this LSU offense. We talked to Preston Guy in the second segment of the show today. He felt the same way. I don't like the way the passing game looks. I don't know about Garrett Nussmeier's health. I don't love the way the offensive line's block, and I don't have any confidence the running game's going to get going. It's a bleak existence for this LSU offense right now to me. When you look at South Carolina's defense, it's pretty average. It's pretty average. They've got a really good player in Dylan Stewart on the edge that LSU's got to make sure that they handle at the point of attack. You cannot let Dylan Stewart change this game materially. You cannot let him get a strip sack. You cannot let him force an early throw from Nussmeier that becomes an interception. You have to deal with him, snap in and snap out, and help Weston Davis, help Tyree Adams, help Carius Kern. Whoever's out there, you got to help him. Don't let him. And if Dylan Stewart doesn't wreck this thing, I don't know that South Carolina's going to. And I think that's the way this thing goes. I expect Tiger Stadium to be a lively environment. I expect the defense to feed that a little bit, and hopefully the offense finds enough to get it done. They found enough to get it done against Clemson. They found enough to get it done in the game against Florida. They didn't do anything to a degree that they needed to against Ole Miss and Oxford. They've had a week off. They've gotten a little healthier. Hopefully they find something. I think it's a little bit of an ugly game. I think it's a game that LSU controls from really start to finish. And I think LSU salts this one away. And I've actually got them covering the number. I've got LSU winning this game 24-9. I think the Tigers really, really make life difficult on this bad South Carolina offense, and the Tiger Stadium crowd overwhelms Lenora Sellers and company. The caveat I'll leave you is if LSU turns the ball over. But if they play this thing straight up and they're solid and they're fundamentally sound, I think they do enough to win it. It looks a little bit like the Florida game without the 5 turnovers that LSU grabbed in that one via interception. Give me LSU 24-9 over South Carolina in this one. I think the Tigers get back on the right track. And look, I'll leave you with this as a last thought. You win this game against South Carolina, and you find somehow, some way to go to Nashville, Tennessee, and win by 1 point. win by 1 point against Vanderbilt, you will come home to the environment of the year against Texas A&M, who might be unbeaten at that point. The environment of the year. And all of a sudden, the negativity that's been around this place since the Ole Miss loss starts to turn around. That's out there, but you got to take care of business first. It's LSU in South Carolina tomorrow. I like the Tigers 24-9. That's it for today's show on this Football Friday. We're brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Missed any of it? Catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Just search Hunt Palmer Show. Looking for the Saints? Hunt on Saints. Looking for LSU? Hunt on LSU. And we always invite you to check out our stuff for free over at LouisianaSports.net. I'm done. Matt Moscona is going to drive you home next after further review from Don Juan Cigar Bar. Have a wonderful weekend. Go Tigers. Come on, Cubbies. See you Monday.
The Hunt Palmer Show.